that.
I like it.
Moderation.
I like it. So let me see. Let me see if I can connect this thing to the Rodecaster.
Nah, it's not going to work. I got you right here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get both of us in there. Put the camera, or put the thing right over here. Is that wide enough? Yeah, I'm sure. No, that's almost. Oh, that's good. That's not too bad. I don't completely hate it. Whatever. Well, she's done this to herself then. It's called. Yeah, yours is locked up. Yeah. Anyway, here we are. I guess we'll do it not live. Yeah, we'll just do this and kind of record it live. Are these cameras still recording? Yeah, it should be. So this is just going to be a podcast, not live then. Oh, this will be the live, not live show. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I actually have no idea what it's doing right now. Let me see. Is that thing still recording? Yeah, that thing shows that we're recording. But I've never seen that shade of blue on it though, so we'll see. We'll see what's going on. Here we go. It's live now. That was it? Okay. It's like 10 minutes late. Is it? Have we been going 10 minutes already? No. Oh. I'm going to see if I can bring my YouTube. Well, you won't be able to see, It's like a minute slow. Well, I'm sure there's a delay, right, from the time we start talking to whatever. All right, man. So, hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the BJJ Foxcast. I'm your host, Alex Martinez, and I'm here with Alex the Tojo Cray. Or is it just Tojo? I don't know what it is anymore. Anyway, we decided to do a live show. We're going to record this one live, which is probably a terrible idea. Without doing any research on how to do it. Zero research. We're just, listen. Experience takes way too long, man. Just do it. Wing it. Yeah, just wing it. But thank you all for joining us on Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody. I don't know, happy holidays if it makes you feel better. I don't care. I don't care what you call it. But anyway, thanks for doing this live, man. This is crazy. Yeah, not live show. Yeah, I don't even remember what episode this is. 27, 28, 28? 100? 28? I don't know. But all I know is I've been on more than Colin. Yes, you have been on more than Colin. And I don't know how that's a competition because there's like 13 people listening. Well, actually, there's 0 people listening. 5 watching. Thank you, everybody. Thank you guys for watching so much. I appreciate you. So we're going to cover a vast variety of topics. Most of them brought up by Kelsey Weissman. Love you, Kelsey. She's the one to really, I think she really pushed us to do this, right? You brought it up and she's like, oh, we're totally doing this. And I'm like, yeah, I have a studio. I don't know how much she pushed it, but she was definitely interested in making topics. Yeah, man. So let's hear some of the topics. And if you guys have topics that you want to talk about, I don't know how to do this, but I'm sure we can throw them in there in the comments, and we'll go through them as they come in. I mean, I see Kelsey put something in the chat. So there's a chat. Yeah, at the bottom. I don't know how you open it because I don't. Just leave yours open, and then we'll just go with that. Yeah. Okay? So if you want to throw questions or topics into the chat that we can talk about. Just throw them in there. Hey, and I didn't know Kelsey was like an editor. Yeah. What? She has like a book editor? Yeah. Novels, letters, all sorts of stuff. No shit. Yeah. That's cool. Like you learn. I don't know. I've known her for years, dude. I never knew that. How long has she been doing that? Are you interviewing her? I'm just asking. I don't know. You're the one closest to her. Listened to her? Kelsey, just drop it in the comments, please. All right. So what's the first topic she wanted us to cover? She says 12 years-ish. 12 years-ish. Rude. Right on. Rude? Is that what she said? Yeah. That's funny. Hey, move that camera back a little bit. It's in the shot. Yeah, there you go. That's a little bit better.
Good enough?
Just made it worse. Whatever.
Who cares?
Okay.
All right. So Kelsey put a bunch of topics onto note cards.
Okay.
I have not gone through this, so hopefully they're all podcast appropriate. So the first one is favorite belt. I assume she means favorite belt.
Hey,
in
Dan.
jiu-jitsu.
Dan's on.
Dan's probably really high right now.
I'm all about it. I'm all about it. All right. What do you got?
Favorite jiu-jitsu belt.
My favorite jiu-jitsu belt that I've given or that I have.
Dealer's choice. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I say the favorite belt. Well, let's start with the favorite one that you've had.
The favorite one that I've had, gosh, man, that had to be like purple belt.
I was gonna say purple too.
Yeah, purple was probably my most. It was probably the most. I don't want to say stressful, but it was the most challenging belt, I guess you could say, because well, first, obviously, like you have that imposter syndrome. They throw the belt on you and it feels kind of heavy. But I did really well at blue belt, so I thought, okay, purple belt would be whatever.
Purple belt's the first real one.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, and I won
when
my first,
you become an upper belt.
Yeah, and I would say it's an intermediate belt. Like I would say white belt, blue belt are still beginner belts, and then purple is an intermediate belt.
Sure.
But you're well on your way when you get purple. I think the higher belts to me are brown and black belts. Those are the higher belts to me. Yeah.
Brown belt's so weird. I always picture brown belt as kind of like the old man belt.
Yeah, you pay your dues at brown belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Purple belt's like where you're like, all right, I figured out what I want to be as far as your jiu-jitsu style.
Yeah.
And you're just sharpening.
Yeah. So for me, purple belt was like, holy crap, I'm about to fight purple belts. And I thought that was pretty cool, fighting purple belts. That'd be
a lot like that though,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Like, and then I have to talk myself into, wait a minute, I'm one too. Yeah. So, but the way it challenged me was about a year, maybe 6 months to a year in, John Cabay came over to our academy from Colorado. And John also was a purple belt. He was a Masters 3 middleweight. And we had to make a decision because, you remember.
He was middleweight?
Yeah, he was a middle, 81. Yeah. And he was still a murderer at 81.
Yeah.
But we had to make a decision because, how Paul was, like, we want as many points during the tournament as possible. So, yeah, Paul and I talked about it, and we decided that I would go down to lightweight. I did 168 pounds for like a year and a half.
Ask Amy how much she loved that.
Oh, she hated it. She hated it because I did it all the wrong way. Just cutting a lot of weight and wearing hoodies and getting my body small. And then I did Master Worlds. I did Master Worlds at 168. I felt like super ready. I was like, I'm gonna kill everybody. Out in the first round. And then the next year I did it again, out in the second round.
Yeah.
So 68 wasn't for me.
Well, I mean, you have no energy.
No.
Drop that much weight.
No. So yeah, I would say it's a belt that challenged me the most, but I learned a lot about myself at purple.
Yeah, I agree. I think purple belt was the one that I was probably the most successful at.
Yeah.
But it was just like I said, I liked it because I think that's like where you're not that you like know everything that you want to know, but like you've kind of like established that like, oh, I'm going to be a guard player or I'm going to be a stand-up player. I mean, obviously that stuff changes, but you kind of like now you're like honing that knife, right?
Yeah.
At that point, like it's you've decided like what fits you. I think I don't know. It was the funnest for me.
Yeah, and it was also the belt where I learned like I wasn't a technician. You know what I mean? Like I had a decent quote unquote game, you could call it. Like I played pretty well, but I wasn't a technician. I really buckled down and started learning a lot of the why of the technique, not just the what. So
I think competition's way more fun too, because like obviously like when you're a white belt, it's I mean, it's monkey fucking a coconut a lot of times. It's kind of a mess. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's like technical white belts, but for the most part, it's very sloppy tournament stuff. And at blue belt, there's still spazziness that's there, just a little more technical. I think at purple belt, most of that stuff has been polished off, and everyone's just getting a little bit better timing wise. Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with what our what your desire is, right? What you want to do as far as that goes. I really feel like like the old person in me is coming out a little bit more and more, where I really want people to stop focusing so much on tournament stuff, which is impossible because that's basically where the martial art has gone. Like that's where all of the money is. That's where all of the attention and all the accolades are. But man, just Amy and I were talking about this. We were talking about our ability to actually defend ourselves. Yeah.
Right. And I'm pretty confident. I've taken a shot in the mouth. I've taken, a black eye, and I've been hit pretty hard, and I can walk through a punch.
Yeah.
But can I really? Like, am I able to?
I need you in the face once.
Right. But am I able to slip a punch, get into the clinch, and get somebody on the ground? I don't know. I haven't done it.
Probably not.
I haven't done it. So so there's a lot that's being lost in those, like, hey, you got 5 minutes to win this round kind of thing. In my opinion, I think there's a lot that's been lost in the martial art because we're so, I don't know, we're so wrapped up in, the points and the advantages and the 5 minutes and, whatever.
Sport jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Hopefully a fight only takes like 30 seconds and you just knock the fucking person out. But if it goes on for longer than a minute, then you're really like, I don't know. I think that's advantage jiu-jitsu, right? So if it goes on for a minute and they're fussing and they're moving and you're just dragging them deeper into water.
Yeah.
And eventually they just break. You've done it, right? In a tournament where somebody's just not ready, and then you feel them deflate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's game on. You can do whatever the hell the hardest thing is figuring out what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing. How do I want to finish this guy? Yeah. Or do I just want to win like 30-0 and just humiliate this guy?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. To that point though, I think there's a lot. You've rolled with people who, like, brand new people who have like no exposure to any sort of combat sport, right?
Right.
They're freaking out.
Yeah.
Like when you roll with them,
they can't help it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people underestimate how much like the exposure to conflict that you have, like in a given class, you have say like 5 or 6 rounds.
Yeah.
Like I know like a lot of people hate to like call jiu-jitsu matches fights, but your body doesn't.
Yeah.
Like mentally, like especially if you have no exposure, your body thinks you're fighting. Your body thinks you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. That's why people have that, like, that's why the spazzy white belts are a thing, is because they're like, their body is putting them in that fight or flight mode, and they're just kind of freaking out. I think there's a lot that goes into like being exposed to that conflict on a daily basis.
Agreed. Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot of less jiu-jitsu people, or anybody who does any sort of combat sport that has some sort of live sparring element to it, is going to have that advantage. Because I think a lot of people, they were talking, someone at my work, they had like all of our auditors have like where they have to do these projects, kind of like just to get them to present stuff to like a group of people. So one of the guys did one on adrenaline and fight or flight. Yeah. And they were like, afterwards, everyone was talking about it, and they're like, oh, if I got into a conflict, this is what I would do. I'm like, and I'm sitting there like, you guys have no fucking idea. Like, yeah. And they asked me, it's like, oh, Tojo does all this stuff. Like, what do you think? I'm like, I think none of you guys have any idea what you would do if you were in a conflict. Yeah. Because if you've never been exposed to that, like, that fight or flight thing isn't a choice. Yeah. Yeah. Right. You have to like learn to deal with that. And if you've never been exposed, maybe you're going to fight. Right. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe you'll run. Maybe not. Maybe you'll freeze. There is the underlying threat of violence, which I love. Like, I love that feeling. Mm-hmm. But they've never been like, okay, forget about an actual street fight, because that's, I don't know. I feel more confident in a street fight than I would like in the bullpen waiting to go at a black belt that's ready to freaking rip my head off. Well, that's because in a tournament you have 100%, especially a black belt, 100% confidence that this guy has experience. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. At a bar, I have almost 100% confidence that guy has no experience. But this guy has no idea. The guy you're talking about, the people you're talking about, they have no idea what they don't know. Right. So they don't have that I got a shit feeling in a bullpen. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, this is fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, to them, it's like everything is fucking crazy. Yeah. Like, they have no clue what they're getting into. So it's pretty wild. But like you were saying, like, you get in a conflict with someone like that, I think that's what's one of the nice part about jiu-jitsu, is like you're putting yourself in like such close quarters that even somebody who's good at, hitting and kicking. Yeah. Like, if I'm hugging you, you can't hit me with any force that's going to do any real damage. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And you can drag someone to the ground, even if it's not like a technical, like, you're not going to blast double somebody at a bar, but I mean, you might. Yeah. You might kill him also. Yeah. Yeah. I would blast double somebody like into their friends. You know what I mean? Just to make sure they get involved too. Yeah. Like, I want them to feel like this idiot got himself into a fight, which should have been like nothing, and now I've got beer all over me. Like, in fuck Vegas. This guy, right? Like in Vegas. Yeah. Hey, you know what? We should ask Kelsey and them how the audio sounds, because I have no idea. We're babbling away, but
I don't know if the audio is any good.
Dan wants to know when you're gonna have a Patreon page. We can support you.
I love you, Danny. You're
maybe
the man.
1 class a week jiu-jitsu for self-defense class. Oh, fuck that. That's not fun.
No, I think it's no. You know what? Here's the thing, man. You know, people talk about jiu-jitsu, and I love jiu-jitsu, man. Jiu-jitsu is my passion. I love it. I'm a freaking academy owner.
Kelsey says the audio is good.
Okay, good. Thank you, Kelsey. So, but the reality of it is, man, like we're losing a lot of what that martial art really is. And I'm just reading, like, you know, I Worth Defending by Richard Bressler. Buy the book. Buy that book. It's an awesome book. Also, Breathe. That recent one with Hicks and Gracie, well written. It was an excellent freaking book.
Did you see that? There's a meme that I saw today that was like, it was a present. Someone gave Breathe as a present, and she's like, "Why didn't you wrap it?" He's like, "Nobody wraps the Gracie. They wrap you."
I love that. That's really funny. I might be able to get away with that. But yeah, I think there's a lot being lost. Well, you know, we talk about like jiu-jitsu, of course. Like if I knew nothing, right, and I look at you and I'm like, this guy's not much, and I get you to the ground. Let's say I got a little bit of wrestling in me, and I get you to the ground, but I know nothing else. You're gonna wrap me up because I can't punch you anymore, really, like to do any real damage. So eventually, you're gonna get on my back and you're gonna choke me out.
Yeah.
But if I'm an amazing striker and I catch you in the chin, I catch you on the button, 100%. There is no getting on my back. I'm going to pummel you in the face. So that's why I think we're losing a lot of that. I think a lot of it, you know, that slipping that punch and getting into the clinch is being lost because, you know, we can shake hands, I can grab your gi and I can sit on my ass. And you're not going to kick me in the face for it.
Sure.
You know, so I don't know. Yeah. I'm kind of torn when it comes to that. So don't get me wrong. I love tournaments. I love the jiu-jitsu sport aspect, but I think the martial art, you know, and not everybody, but if you talk to like, I would say like 65% of the new people coming into jiu-jitsu are calling it a sport and not a martial art. I think that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, it is a sport for sure.
It is a sport. There is sport jiu-jitsu, but it's really,
it does have martial arts.
It's at the root,
sure.
at its root, it's a martial art.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's being lost.
Yeah. Yeah. And I especially, I think we've all seen that like inflated, like, especially at that white belt level, they get a couple months in them and then they start like pissing vinegar and walking around like this. I mean, which is good to have some confidence, right? Because a lot of people like lack a lot of like self-confidence. So there's that, you know, there's the benefit in that aspect of it, but then that's kind of a double-edged sword. Too much confidence will get you kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that comes with the humility aspect of it, right? Where you're just like, oh, you know, somebody calls you a name or, you know, whatever, you know, not touching you, not, you know, they're just calling you names or maybe calling your wife, your girlfriend a name. You got to overcome that instinct that like, nah, I got to shut this guy up, you know, and just, okay, yeah, whatever you say, pal, whatever you say. I mean,
I don't care what martial art you know, though. Someone pulls a gun on you,
you're fucked. Yeah. I mean, a knife, it doesn't take much. You know what I mean?
I think I don't remember exactly what the statistic is, but like people who bring knives into a fight, any fight, are more likely to have it used on them.
Really?
That I remember reading that somewhere.
That would happen to me. Yeah. Like that would happen to me.
Like, I'm gonna stab you.
No. What happened to me is like I'd go to hit somebody, I'd fall over something, the knife that I'm carrying flies out of my pocket, lands in his hand, and then
he's like,
that would be like my luck right there. What happened? I don't want to talk about it, Doc. Just get the knife out of me.
I tripped.
But you know, if I have to talk about like what was my favorite belt to give, that's a tough one, man, because you know me, like I'm on the verge of tears all the time. And when it comes to promoting people, it's really hard for me not to get choked up because once somebody's been with you for at least 2 years, you have a history, man, especially when they get it like on the button, 18 months to 2 years, like they are showing up consistently. They're a part of your life. And, you know, and there's another level to it because some of the first belts I ever gave out were for my morning guys. So those are people that are not only showing up consistently, they're showing up consistently at the worst freaking time to show up. I mean, first thing in the morning is hard, but man, there's so many, like there's so many.
Blue belt's the first one.
And
I think that's like, it's not only the first one. I think it's kind of the most important one because
I think so too.
It's because the white belt is very much make or break.
Yeah.
Right. Because like many people will even do it for 6 months.
Yeah.
A year.
Yeah.
And then just be like,
whatever. And that's cool.
Yeah.
Like 6 months to a year of jiu-jitsu is actually pretty decent. I mean, compared to, you know, other people. I mean, if you get somebody with like a year under their white belt and then somebody comes in brand new, they work that brand new person. Right. I mean, it's kind of good. But the people that stick with it, man. And for me, it's all about what's your story.
Yeah.
You know, if you, I hate to say it, but if you live a charmed life, all right, just get a blue belt. Another thing, you know, you always got free movie tickets and you're, you know, whatever, all that shit your whole life. But there are some people that stand out in my mind, and you know, Corey is one of them. You know, he's overcome a lot of stuff to stick with his jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Colin Ensing, that's another one that stands out. That one was really emotional for us, because for all of us, because we have a history with the kid.
Yep.
But for me, if I had to pick one, oh man, that would be tough. Gosh, I guess, you know what? It's almost an easy one. It'd have to be Marlena.
Yeah.
Marlena's blue belt. That one got me because Marlena was like, you know, she's soccer mom. You know what I mean? Like, you know, she had Bella, and Bella was like, you know, everything, and you know, she's got Vin, and you know, she has an ex-husband who
Vin's everything.
Vin is not everything. Vin is. I hate him so much. My shoulders are killing me right now. We'll talk about that later. But no, getting back to Marlena, she told a story once about she has an ex-husband who's he's a bully.
Yeah.
You know, he's a bully, and she always, like, you know, gave in to whatever, you know, because she just wanted him out of her life.
Yeah.
And I remember when she went in to fight, maybe he wanted more time with Bella or wanted to pay less money or whatever, and they had to go to a court hearing type thing. And she, you know, stood her ground, and she literally, like, she told him what's what, and she won. And then she told us, like, the only difference between that meeting and the previous was jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And man, if that doesn't get you, nothing. You know what I mean? Like, that's a good one. I mean,
that confidence isn't just physical confidence, right? I mean, confidence that you build through jiu-jitsu is I think just learning a useful skill in general.
Yeah.
I mean,
doing hard shit.
Yeah.
Do hard shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Knowing that, like, you would, if you would ask yourself like a year prior, you'd be like, no, I can't do that. And then all of a sudden you're doing it.
Yeah. And I have a lot of respect for people that do like CrossFit and all that, because they're doing hard shit every day. I mean, if you do hard shit every day, I have respect for you. But in jiu-jitsu, like, you have to overcome so many things, like people touching you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People grabbing you in such a way that it hurts. You know what I mean? And maintaining your cool.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't do that. That's why they quit. But for her, it was like overcoming all of that plus the emotional shit that she was going through along the way. So I think if I had to pick one, that'd probably be mine. What was yours? Well, first, what was your you said purple belt as well, right? Was like your belt?
Yeah, for sure. But no, like, my opinion is that first real belt, man, it's a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
Which is why I think, it's definitely why a lot of people quit at blue belt.
Yeah.
Because
it's hard.
It's really fucking hard to get there. I mean, it's not only like 2 years. It's not literally just putting time in.
Yeah.
Like how I made fun of your stripe, but whatever.
What did you say? All you gotta do is not die for 3 years. And
congratulations for not dying for 3 years.
There's more to it than that, folks. You got to find tape.
But I mean, you learn the most. You deal with the most from white to blue.
Yeah.
Like it's the biggest hurdle.
Yeah. You overcome the insecurities. You overcome, you know, that. I mean, for me, it was like just not being fat anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was still a little fat when I got my blue belt.
Sure.
Wasn't like, but you know what I mean? You know.
Yeah, I think the most growth is in that first year to 2 years, right? And it just makes it a big accomplishment.
Yeah, and you know, I think also that it's a little switch on the ground there. I also think that just the fact, like, you almost feel like you got to start over. You know what I mean? You got your blue belt, and like, okay, so I have to have this belt for 2 years no matter what.
Yeah.
I think for some people are like, well, if I got to have it for 2 years anyway. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I could just kind of back off or take my foot off the gas or whatever, and you can't take your foot off the gas.
I think it's just overwhelming.
It is.
Because they like just got over a huge hurdle, right? Getting through the white belt. And it's like, you do kind of start over at each belt a little bit, right?
And for a lot of people, it's like they don't know how to handle that.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, it's just like, it's another big hurdle, realizing that you have another big hurdle after you, right?
Yeah.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why they just like, I don't want to do that again. That was too hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, people who push themselves to accomplish a big goal, like say running your first marathon or something like that. They're like, okay, I did it. I don't want to do it again. You know, it's kind of like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So what was it about purple belt for you that made it so significant?
For me, it was like, well, so when I started at Paul's, the highest belt was a purple belt.
Yeah.
So it like kind of, I think it like subconsciously.
Wilbur, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, because I think even back then, like Daniel Rodriguez and Aaron and Brandon and all them were all blue belts.
Yep.
So it was like, and then, Kevin, the guy who got me into jiu-jitsu, I think he just won pans at white belt and got his blue belt. But like the highest person in class other than Paul was the one purple belt. So it was kind of like that always, I think in my head was like, that's a big mark, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously now it's like, I mean, half of our advanced class is black belts. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But like when I started, it was, you only had purple belts.
Yeah.
Purple and blue belts, right? Where like the people that you looked up to. So I think maybe there's like that kind of like, I'm at that level now.
Yeah.
Of the guys who, when I started, were the best in the class, in the room, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's a little bit of that. I also think that what I mentioned earlier, like the competition is different because you're not gonna. It's very rare at like purple belt or above that you go to a tournament and you compete, or even go to open mat and you enroll with like another purple belt or another brown belt or whatever.
Yeah.
That you roll with somebody and they're like sloppy and junky.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like all of your peers or people that are your peers or above are going to be skilled, and I think that makes it more fun.
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah.
Because even at blue belt, you get some guy who's been able to like say like you get that CrossFitter guy who's got like awesome cardio and stuff like that, and he's strong and powerful, and he's been able to kind of like use that to kind of get through white belt and most of his blue belt.
Yeah.
But like at purple belt, that's where a lot of that stuff becomes less important.
Yeah.
If you didn't develop the skill to begin with, those guys are the ones that kind of start falling off.
Yeah. I think what got me the most was when I started training with like higher belts, as we started coming in or whatever, because we had an influx of people that came in. Yeah. Remember that? I think what I really enjoyed the most was watching them manipulate me by just being patient with what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I would have like a sleeve grip on somebody's gi and they wouldn't break the sleeve grip. And I'm like, huh. And next thing you know, they're on my back because I'm so committed to this grip that they were able to just move their arm and my entire body turned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, brilliant.
Yeah.
Where for me, if I see a sleeve grab, I'm like, oh shit, just break whatever you can.
It's like when you're like knee cutting and someone grabs the lapel and they're like, they think they got you. I'm like, I'm going forward. You're just helping me. Yeah. Bud.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you were mentioning earlier. I think we tell a lot of white belts, like, especially like when a scramble begins, like, get your freaking grips. I don't care what. I mean, because you want them to at least get in the habit of like not just having their hands be doing nothing.
Yeah.
You need to be getting grips and creating frames or making your partner have to address things, right? Otherwise, they're just coming right through your guard.
Yeah.
Or they're gonna sweep you, or they're gonna whatever, right? But it at the same time as that's a useful thing, like a useful habit to develop is like getting your grips or getting some sort of control in those open positions. You also you can't. It's so situational where you can't just be like you're getting this particular grip so that when he starts to try to pass, he can't pass because he can't get the upper body control. It's a more of a broad stroke statement versus like an actual technical skill.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, like once you start like learning the hows and the whys, then like you're like, oh, I'm going straight for this sleeve grip because he's going to try to come around, and if he can't get that arm around my head, he's not passing my guard.
Right. Yeah.
There's like an old Kyotera instructional where he talks about like, so if someone's like passing around to your right, if you get that the arm that's going to be the crossface, right? You get that sleeve and you just stiff arm it down into your pocket. He can get past your legs, but he's never going to be able to establish any real control.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's smart.
And then it was the same drill we were doing when Orlando was here teaching a seminar, right? It's like you get up on your elbow and you shrimp away and you use that to push him away, and then you pull him into your guard.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a simple grip. One grip on his sleeve, straight arm, keep it pushed down. He'll never be able to get the upper body control.
Yep. So like even when somebody's like escaping my my back take, what I'll do is I'll grab the sleeve or I'll grab the wrist of the arm that's closest to me, and I'll just keep that elevated so they can't get their elbow on the ground.
100%.
And I'll hook my leg under their knee so they can't turn towards me. They can hip out all they want, but all I'm going to do is come up and be in side control.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing they can do. They can't turn towards me.
Well, yeah, I have a very similar thing. Like when people are escaping back control, like my favorite thing to do, so I'll have the seatbelt, right? That underhook arm is going right for that lapel. Yep. And right as they like drop their shoulder to the mat, all right, I'm pulling myself up into mount.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's perfect, man.
You know, and it's like, those are like things you learn from experience.
Yeah.
And it's really like, you know, you can't just teach a class on like what each grip does, when, how, like there's infinite solutions.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So we're going into our Kimura series going into next month.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a very, very technical series that we do, very technical.
Yeah.
And it's very practical, right? And there are steps 1 through 10 that you can do on pretty much any position to either establish a trap to, you know, a dominant position or a trap to submission.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that it's easy to teach, because it's not, but it's a hell of a lot easier to teach than how to retain guard.
Right. Oh, I struggle with that all the time.
It's
like,
so theoretical.
What an important skill to have.
Yeah.
Like having an unpassable guard.
Yeah.
But it's like one of the hardest things to teach.
It is, because it's so dynamic.
There's not like individual techniques.
No.
Because it like you said, it's dynamic. It very much depends on what the person does.
Yes.
And they're going to change what they do every split second.
And there isn't I don't want to say there isn't a single situation, but most times there are not situations in which like it's not as predictable. Like if I do this, he has to do that.
Right.
Because that's not true. Right. Because they can just posture way up. They can stand up completely and then cartwheel or whatever the hell they want. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's very situational. And all you can do is learn the theory and then practice your ass off.
Yeah. I mean, the reality of it is it's just like it's the easiest things to teach are like individual techniques.
Yeah. Individual technique. Yeah.
Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, submit.
Yep.
Right. And that's it.
Yep.
But guard retention, even guard passing in a lot of ways is more conceptual than it is an individual sets of techniques.
Yeah, but there are a lot of techniques that just flat out work.
Sure.
You know, I just love techniques where they know what's coming, but they can't do a damn thing about it. Those
which
are fantastic.
Is more for guard passing than guard retention.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. So what about the belt, a belt that you gave that is significant to you?
Well,
that's a hard one, by the way.
Well, for me, I've only given out my first belt was Alva's brown belt.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, like Paul gave out the other
rookie.
One. I know.
Fucking rookie.
I'm new. What do you want from me?
So what was
cool?
But what was significant about that for you? Because I mean, he's been with you for a couple of years now.
Yeah, and I mean, Alva trained with you back when you taught at Paul's. You know, Alva's such a good guy and like super humble.
Yeah,
like he is like
he's a beast though.
He's a fucking monster.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, and like he'll be the first to tell you that like, you know, he's like, I don't want the next belt. You know, it's not like anything. He's like, you know, there's one thing when you have like athletes who are like their goal is the next belt, which I get to an extent, but it's like people need to get rid of that.
Yeah.
You know, which is nice because Alva didn't have that. It's not like you had to teach him to not be looking for the belt and just be getting better.
Right.
He's just getting better, coming in the mornings. He's our most consistent person.
Yeah, he's a good example of that.
Like, you know, we always talked about how Rich is the governor. I'm like, I kind of think Alva's the governor because he's like the most consistent part about the morning class. Yeah. He'll roll with anybody. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, he's not afraid of like big guys, small guys, you know, like, and he's really good at like dialing it back for like people who are less skilled than him. Yep. And he can like, sometimes you get like more advanced, like people who will roll with like a brand new white belt.
Yeah.
And then they like end up like coaching him the entire time.
Yeah. I hate that shit.
I hate it too.
Just fucking play.
Like there, you can give like little pointers here and there, but like if you spend the whole match, like, or like the whole like 5 minutes, 6 minutes or whatever coaching.
Well, I mean, it's different when it's like a first day or first week person because they have no idea what the hell they're doing. Mm-hmm. But I always tell people like, just have him stand up and try to pass your guard. Hey, your job is to get around his feet and his knees. Yeah. That's your job. Yeah. And his job is
let
to
the instincts go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just let it happen. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can learn some shit along the way.
Yeah.
But
he's good at like just kind of directing them without like, I think a lot of people aren't as receptive to like having someone be like, hey, you need to do A, B, and C versus like just kind of like moving them into the positions. And then they almost like come to the conclusion themselves that way.
Yeah.
And he's really good at doing that with like less experience or new people.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I may have given him his purple belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I may have put his purple belt on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I threw it on the ground.
hit the price. Throw this one away.
I was giving Nick shit for I can't remember whose belt he gave, but like him and Amber were like giving up the belt or whatever, and I was giving him shit for not being able to like tie it because it is weird, right? To tie someone else's belt for them.
Yeah.
And he's like, he picked it up off the ground and he was like, you're supposed to put this over his shoulders. I'm like, yeah, fuck you.
You threw it on the ground. Oh my God.
You don't need this anymore.
So I remember going into Pans, like my second time at Pans at Blue Belt, and we were a week away from leaving, and everything was going good, man, on weight, like ready to go, and maybe 2 weeks anyway. But I was teaching a kids class, and I'm on one knee tying this kid's belt around his waist. And as I'm tying it, he sneezes right in my face. Boom. And I'm like, I have the flu. I'm about to get sick. And I got sick as a dog, dude. For like 3 days, I couldn't fucking breathe.
Little germ monsters. Little germ monsters.
But the way it was so innocent, man. He's just standing there. Bah! His freaking whole face just explodes right in my face. Like, yeah, man.
All right.
Topic number 2. That was topic number 1, by the way. That probably took like an hour.
Yeah, and we got 30. I hope everyone's got nothing going on today. It's Christmas.
It is Christmas. Who the hell's got anything going on today?
All right. So this is not. I assume it's not jiu-jitsu related. A skill you'd like to learn.
Oh shit!
I already know all the skills. So
yeah, whatever. Oh man, gosh, a skill I'd like to learn. You know, I'm always trying to improve my communication skills.
Yeah.
I go through our old podcast and I'm so embarrassed at all the uhs and ums and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's a skill that needs to be developed. But if I had to pick a skill I want to learn, man,
because you're already, I mean, you could say that you're actively learning that skill constantly.
Yeah. It's something that I'm working on. I'm not good. I'm not good at it.
Communication skills is like, it's one of those things like there's not like, oh, I took a class and now I know how to communicate. Right? Because you're always like, it's one of those things. If you don't use it, you lose it. Like,
yeah, I think one of the skills I'd like to learn as a business owner and as a leader in my business is communicating exactly what my intent is. So, you know,
I mean like being concise or.
Well, what I mean is I have coaches that are awesome. I have an awesome group of coaches.
Who's your worst coach?
My worst coach is me. I am the worst coach in the academy. No, I have a great group of coaches, but I don't think I do. I give them like as much room for, to do what they want to do as possible. Like, hey, that's
why you hire a coach.
This is your class. You run it. But there are some things that I intend, like, I need to make my intent like known. Like, one of the things that I would insist that a coach does is he builds relationships in that academy. Relationships are huge, man. And for you and I, it's like we went in with the intent to build those relationships. You know what I mean? But a lot of people don't, because they don't quite know how, or maybe they don't feel like it's their place. You know what I mean? So I think that, if you show up, 5 minutes before class starts and you leave 5 seconds after class is done, you're a hired gun at that point. You know what I mean? Like
you're checking all the boxes, but like there's more to it.
Yeah, there is. And I think that if you're going to be a leader in the academy, be a leader, right? Understand, get to know your people, get to know what they're, what motivates them. A lot of the things that I learned in the corporate world apply obviously to everything in jiu-jitsu, especially, is you got to know how people are compensated. So what I would do is, let's just say I was working with an operations group, and the operations group was not performing the way I think they should perform. It's not my fucking business, right? It's the operations. However, it does affect me, right? Because it affects the customer. So if I found out that, hey, our operations group doesn't make any more or less money if the job comes in on budget or not.
Right.
And I would find out why. Why is it that we're not incentivizing these guys to knock shit out of the park? Like, if you have a 2-week job that takes you 3 days, you should be compensated for what you saved the company. Like, some of that money should go to you.
Right.
And I fought hard.
You saved 11 days.
Yes. Like, and you know what that means?
That's
a lot of freaking time.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, like, especially in the summertime in the AC world, you could have a fleet of 50 people on the street. No, I don't think anybody does. But I mean, I would say I've been in companies where we had 40.
Yeah.
And the dispatcher would have to tell customers, like, yeah, we'll try to be there like Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning. They're like, dude, it's Friday.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're always super busy. So those 11 days that you saved, is giant money for the company.
Right.
That's like, hey man, we can be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, and everybody's happy. So when you find out how people are compensated, whether it's monetarily or if they just want to feel like they're part of something bigger,
right?
But you can't. You can't. Well, you definitely want to react to that, right? You want to be on top of that. And I think a lot of people that don't take the time to learn that stuff are the people who fail. Those are the losers. Yeah. So what's so funny? What are you laughing
at? Well, so Colin Ensing from the Eastern European bloc, he said, try learning Russian.
Oh, yeah. Right. No, I'm going to pass. I tried Portuguese. I tried doing the I don't want to say, what is it? Duolingo. That was kicking my ass. That was just kicking out. My brain just doesn't work. Yeah. Russian. I don't know if I could.
All right. So Dan Ensing was, back to the other topic, was talking about, so he says blue is tough because higher belts now see you as a threat. It's like, and white belts see you as a stepping stone / chance for promotion. That's kind of true. You're kind of like, that's when people start like taking you seriously. So like, you start getting, I mean, in my opinion, that's when the rounds get fun, when people like aren't, when people aren't obviously taking it easy on you.
Yeah. And if I had a brown belt that asked me like, how do I get ready for that next level? Come into class and beat the shit out of blue belts. Yeah. Just beat the shit out of them.
Every one of them.
Everyone. Well, I got the shit beat out of me by a blue belt the other day, but we won't talk about that. The kid's really talented.
He is very good. I know you're talking about.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, that's really, because a blue belt should know how to defend what's coming at him. Because I mean, who was it? There was a meme the other day that said there are no black belt techniques; they're just techniques performed at a black belt level, and that's really true. I mean, by the time you're like, and you're going into your second year in blue, you pretty much know every technique that I know.
It's funny because I was like having this conversation with my nephew last night about like struggling in math, and he's like, "They have me doing college level math." I'm like, "That's not a thing.
That's not a thing. Yeah,
there's math.
Yeah, right.
There's freaking math.
That's true, man. Yeah, I mean, there's more complex math. I'll give him that, but it's math. Yeah,
right. I mean, you can make that argument with technique too.
There's
more complex technique.
That's true.
But either way, I mean, I mean, there's not anything that like just because you're a 12-year-old, you can't learn that math.
Yeah.
You just got to learn the building blocks underneath it, right?
Yeah.
Same with technique.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if you don't know how to maintain closed guard, you're not going to be able to do an armbar from closed guard.
That's true.
You're not going to be able to do an omoplata from closed guard because they're just going to pass your guard.
Yep.
Right? So same basic idea. You got to build those, that foundation, and then but anybody can build that foundation and build off of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, if you don't understand how important it is to use your legs in the closed guard, you're going to have a long jiu-jitsu life.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people try to do like YouTube jiu-jitsu, and they're like, "I have this really flashy thing, Sierra." And
whoa,
I'm just kidding.
Whoa, wait a minute, what just happened, Sierra? Look, we just lost a listener, asshole.
Learn how to do push-ups.
We had 3, now we have 2 listeners.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, just a lot of people like the cool, flashy stuff because it looks cool.
It looks great.
Fun.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun, especially when I love smashing it.
Yeah, what was it? I think it's one of the Gracies that we used to talk about, like maintaining mount.
Yeah,
like it's like
that's Audra Gracie thing.
Yeah, it's so hard to maintain mount. Yeah. So before you can even think about any of the submissions from mount, you have to be able to maintain it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
I guess it's not so hard to maintain mount.
It's fucking hard.
It depends. It depends.
Fucking hard.
If the person on bottom knows nothing,
if you don't know what you're doing, it's easy. But if they know what they're doing, it's really hard.
Yeah.
All right. What about you? What's a skill you want to learn?
How much time you got?
Let's do it, man.
Skills.
Let's do it.
Fly airplanes. Learn Portuguese would be cool. Learning.
You want to fly airplane?
Yeah. I think that'd be really cool. I want to build an airplane and then fly it.
That is a stupid idea.
But something.
Yeah, that does sound like you. I was actually really disappointed in you when you bought a motorcycle. I have to say it. Yeah, I was very disappointed in you. Yeah, big, flashy, brand new, and I'm like, what? Like I expect.
I have a motorcycle.
A shopping, like a motorcycle from you, I think should be built from like a shopping cart. You know what I mean? Like you just found it,
built it from scratch,
and it's like half plastic because you fucked up and got a Target one. You know what I mean?
I would not fuck that. Kelsey knows I have a motorcycle. Well, I have parts of a motorcycle in the backyard that's been there for about 6 months. Maybe.
There's no doubt in my mind. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind.
It's like other hobbies have taken precedent over that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So okay. So flying. Why flying airplanes? Why not a helicopter?
That's a good question. I don't know. Airplane was just the one that I thought.
I think you could build a helicopter easier than you could an airplane.
Probably. I mean, for both, they have kits that you can buy. I think the hardest part for both of them is learning how to use them.
Yeah.
Learning how to fly a helicopter or plane.
Yeah, I looked into a helicopter pilot's license, and just to get the license, I think it's like $16,000. Well, that was also like 4 years ago when I looked into it.
Sure. I think it's just a cool skill because it's so niche.
Yeah.
Like how many pilots do you know?
One
Sonny. Maybe. Yeah.
Two. Jeff Veslowski. He was he was a helicopter pilot. He flew helicopters for Maricopa Police Sheriff's Office, whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's such a.
I think it was a civilian pilot.
Nobody like out of all the people like say like that train at your school, like what percentage of them you think could fly a plane?
1%. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe 1%.
Yeah, 1%.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just like such a low percentile skill.
Yeah.
I think it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
I mean, I'm not picky. Like a helicopter, I think a helicopter would, in a lot of ways, have more use.
Yeah.
Because you could just go like drop down somewhere.
Yeah, and I think people that have been in the Navy, we have like just skills that are just stupid. Like why like. When you're going,
you know how to mop really well, right?
Yeah, well, I can mop the shit out of anything. But when you're going on deployment, you're literally, I mean, have you ever seen those prison shows? That's literally what being on deployment is, with fewer stabbings. But you get into a routine, you go to eat chow, you stand watch, you clean.
You can't go anywhere.
You can't. You're on a fucking prison. You're on a prison boat, basically. Yeah. And but one year, one deployment, I was like, I'm gonna learn how to juggle, and I did. I can juggle because
I was so bored. You were under quarantine. I'm gonna learn how to make sourdough.
Yes, yeah. That would be really hard though, learning to make sourdough on a boat. But anyway,
you would use your sock cheese.
Yeah, but people do just rando shit, man, to learn a skill. So yeah,
if you got time.
Yeah.
What else are you gonna fucking do?
Yeah. Okay. What's a realistic skill that you think you could learn like next year?
Be a better welder.
Okay, but you already know how to weld. So would you say maybe learn aluminum welding?
I don't think I would tell someone that I know how to weld. I can weld.
Right.
So there's kind of from what I've seen, from videos I've watched, there's welders and there's grinders. I'm a grinder.
You're a grinder. Okay.
Yeah, I just basically part this weld and then grind it to look nice-ish.
Does it hold?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Holds well enough for usually what I'm doing.
As far as we know.
But I'd like to be able
somebody falling into a freaking off a bridge right now.
I think it'd be nice to be able to functionally weld. Something that you could like if you were to weld a frame for a buggy or something like that.
That'd be cool.
that you would know that you wouldn't fall right through the floor or something.
Yeah, it would hold. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I've never been asked that before. Skill you would learn.
Yeah. All right.
What else? What?
This one is for Sierra. Shower poopers. 1 in 20.
What?
It's 1 in 20.
1 in 20 shower poops?
Yeah, she said that to Kelsey and I. She's
There's no way.
She's like 1 in 20. I think it started with do you poop in the shower?
That is. So we were talking about the Sierra conversational diagram. It's just linear, and it's just there is no setup. There's no setup. She'll walk in and say something like, yeah, I shaved my cat yesterday. Wait, what? You did what? Just rando shit. And so okay. So Sierra said that 1 in 20 people.
Well, she didn't say so there was just recently a study, and I saw it on Facebook too. At 1 in 20.
I'm sorry, I'm going to jump on the interweb right now because
check that out.
Yeah,
1 in 20. But the context was, that mean, or maybe it's 1 in 30. But anyways, but it's in class, one person in class probably shits in the shower.
No way,
right? I mean, there's say on a Friday night, there's 20 people there. Right? So one person. I was like, it's Josh's narrows.
Oh gosh. Crap in the shower. 1 in 30, you fucking liars.
Oh god.
1 in 30 people.
I changed it. I was like
1 in 30 people say they have done a poop in the shower. Okay, so they've done a poop in the shower. It's not like they
Well, have you pooped in the shower ever?
Never. No, of course not. No.
Liar.
I haven't. I've never pooped in the shower, but it says they've pooped. So that means at least once. 1 in 30 people. Yeah. I never have.
But like, once you go crap, you can't go back.
That's so gross, dude. You are so disgusting. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah, they got to waffle stomp it, right?
Yes, a waffle stomp is acceptable, I think.
Yeah, I mean, how else? What are you? You pick it up and throw it in the
You know what?
You just poop into your hand.
There was a guy. So I worked in this office. Gosh, it's been so long ago. Back in Pennsylvania, worked in this office, and there was this guy talking about. There was the only woman in the office was our receptionist. I can't remember her name. She was awesome. But these guys had male-female bathrooms, so they call it court 1, court 2. So somebody went to court 2 and took a giant dump and couldn't flush it, and then we had like visitors. And there were women that had to use the bathroom. He said he was so tempted just to take his own shit and like open the freaking ceiling tile and throw it up in the ceiling.
We'll deal with this later.
I don't know if he did or not, but yeah, those are the words that came out of his mouth. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that pooping in the shower very much. 1 in 30.
1 in 30. So gross.
So that means, what do you have? Like roughly 200 and some odd?
Yeah, about 300 some odd. Yeah.
There's some poopers.
There's
some poopers in there.
At least 10 people.
All right. Let's see. What are a couple items on your bucket list?
Bucket list items? Shit, man, that's easy.
Shitting in the shower.
Shitting in the shower is not one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. So definitely doing a ayahuasca ceremony in South America. Definitely want to do that. That's definitely on. I don't want to say that's bucket list, but that's something that I want to start doing like almost consistently.
Yeah.
We have a student in class that goes about every 6 months, and
it sounds scary.
He was I mean, not too long ago he was a very different person.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's done wonders for him. And I'm just curious. I'm just curious to see that.
What if it makes you a worse person?
Then I deserve it, right? I mean, like, if it brings out like the real asshole in you, then you're just an asshole.
Yeah, turns out I'm an asshole.
It just worked out that way. Yeah, that one's pretty easy. That's if I had to start at the top of the bucket list or the most doable, that would probably be the most doable. What about you?
I don't know, man.
I don't want to do anything, man. Like I don't want to climb Everest. I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah, I don't. The reality is like I think both of you and I like have kind of like we do exciting things.
Yeah, we do a lot of shit.
Do a moose hunt in Alaska.
That'd be cool.
Or a grizzly hunt.
Yeah, but is that really a bucket list thing? Would that you only do once before you die? It should be like a common thing, I think, right?
Or I mean, just make that a reality, like before you die.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not like you can just like. I mean, if you have enough money, you can just go do anything, right?
True.
But, I mean, I don't know if I have the money to go just, make a trip to Alaska to do a big hunt like that.
Yeah, I wonder what that would cost. What is a trip?
I don't know.
Let's look.
Yeah.
Should we look?
Google it.
All right. So what is it about hunting in Alaska that is like so significant that you can't do it anywhere else?
It's just like because it's so like inaccessible for a lot of people. Like it's a big trip to Alaska. Just getting to Alaska in general. Not knowing the area. Alaska is like one of our like true wilderness areas.
Yeah.
Right. Like the Superstition Mountain Range is like a wilderness area, right? But if you pick a direction and you go that direction for long enough, you're going to end up in Phoenix or end up in a city, right? Like you're not really lost. You can get lost in Alaska.
Yeah. So fully outfitted, about $22K.
Yeah.
So you can do it for 7 to 10, but I think that's self-guided and you probably die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a bucket list thing. Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
But think of it this way, though. This is how I justify things. Breast augmentation.
Okay.
How many women actually need it? I mean, like have to have it or they'll die.
Zero.
So what does that cost? Like 15, 20 grand? Moose hunt. You can justify the moose hunt, right?
It's my breast augmentation.
Yes. Do you need to hunt a moose? No. Do you want to hunt a moose? Yes.
It'll make me more confident and I would feel better interested.
Yes, exactly. Well, I shouldn't say that none of them need it. I'm sure there's reasons why, people with like.
No, you're being really insensitive.
I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm just saying that you can justify it. I can justify it in my head, but
that's fair. But I mean, that's kind of like the barrier to entry to a lot of bucket list type things.
Money.
It's like taking, like say like someone's bucket list is like going to Europe or whatever. It's like, that's not cheap.
That's not cheap.
Right.
Yeah. I think if you do like a week in Europe, I mean, you're looking at $5,000 to $7,000, I think, just getting there and lodging.
All the travel while you're there.
Yeah.
None of that stuff is cheap.
No. And that's why, gosh, Amy and I went to Hawaii, like, gosh, it's been, what, 4 years now?
Yeah.
Dude, it was an expensive trip.
Just the plane tickets alone, right?
Yeah.
Flying over water is not cheap.
No, flying over water is not cheap. And there's nowhere to land other than where you're going.
Yeah.
So that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the barrier of entry, like, yeah, that's, I mean, and a lot of people, I mean, there's a lot of excuses. There's a lot of reasons not to do that stuff. But, yeah you can.
I don't really believe in bucket lists. I just, like, figure out something you want to do and make it happen. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I want to do this before I die. Just like, if you're interested in it, fucking try it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like kind of like all of my skills. It's like, I want to learn how to build a motorcycle. All right, so I bought a motorcycle and started building on it.
Yeah, and I think you said something the other day that pissed me off. Well, you say things that piss me off a lot of times. But like we were talking about traveling, and you said, oh, there's a lot of places in the U.S. that I haven't seen, so I don't want to go anywhere else. Was that you or is that somebody else?
Kind of, yeah.
That was you?
Well, I was being tongue-in-cheek.
But have you ever thought that maybe some of the places you haven't been in the States are not fun? They're just not cool? Like not worth going to look at?
Yeah, I could say that about everywhere, though.
No, not really. I mean, like I don't know if you've ever been to Hawaii, but that shit is, you want to go to Hawaii just to look at it.
No, I'm not a tropical person.
Amazing. No, I don't care. It does something to you, man. Okay. Hawaii is a different place. You can't believe what you're looking at. You just can't believe what you're looking at.
Okay.
It's amazing. Like, I'm convinced that if you buried this can in Hawaii, a plant would grow. That is, I'm telling you, man, it's that fucking fertile, dude. That place is amazing. Yeah. Anyway.
That's why they just drop animals there and then they become, now we have a pig problem.
I think there's another axis deer problem like on Maui now or something like that.
All the islands.
Yeah.
Pig and well, I think at this point, they're trying to make the wild pig there as good as indigenous, right? Because they've been there basically as long as the Hawaiian people have been there.
Yeah.
So at like what point do you say they're indigenous? Because like the Hawaiian people aren't indigenous to the Hawaiian Islands.
Right.
Nobody is. Right. So it's just like, at what point do you draw that line saying this is when something is indigenous to an area?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. People that are smarter than I am are making that decision. So who knows?
Yeah. I mean, it's just all arbitrary.
Right.
All right. Anyways, dream jiu-jitsu matchup.
For me,
I think just in general. So maybe for you because you're selfish.
I am selfish.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who else?
Do you want to fight?
I can't talk about who Gordon Ryan wants to fight.
No, but your dream match to watch, you could say.
I don't have one.
No.
I'm not that nerdy about it. Like, I enjoy watching them. I enjoy watching good jiu-jitsu matches. But if I can't say, oh, I wish I could see this guy fight. No, I don't know.
I mean, I would like to see like Gordon Ryan fight like one of like Helio in his prime.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah,
just as like a to see like I would argue that Gordon Ryan beats the shit out of him. I just think jiu-jitsu's come so far.
Yeah,
since,
it's a little different.
Since the starting of jiu-jitsu, or like
I think we lost all of our listeners on that one.
Whatever. Controversial point of view.
It is a controversial point of view.
Well, I mean, I think we idolize the Gracies, and don't get me wrong, they did a lot for jiu-jitsu, but like they're still human.
Yeah. I mean, but they, anybody that's like an innovator to me is like, okay, so I use, obviously, Gracie family innovators, obviously, right?
Right.
But if you look at guys like Eddie Bravo,
sure.
Eddie Bravo is like a jiu-jitsu guy, like he's an old school jiu-jitsu guy, and he's an innovator.
Yeah.
Those are the type of people that I love to follow. Like I love watching what they do, and I watch what they do carefully. I think I feel like he stopped a little short on the EBI thing. I think that could have been something really big. I think it could have been as big as ADCC.
Yeah.
If he would have stuck with it. I don't know why he kind of backed out. The EBI rules still exist. Don't get me wrong. Still EBI matches, but the direction he was going with it was so exciting, and then it just stopped.
Yeah, and I mean that was like when that stuff first started coming out. There was a lot. That's when like super fights are coming out. Like that was like there was a lot of different like new and
that was a springboard
up and coming like super fight organizations. Like remember like Metamorph?
Yeah,
still a thing. Like
I don't know, Copa Podio. Remember that one? That was a really good one.
Now we have Fight to Win, ADCC, and
who's
sometimes
number one?
They have Eddie Bravo.
Who's number one?
who's number one. I always consider him fight to win because they're kind of like slow grappling. Because like fight to win is only done on flow, right?
Well, I mean, what else is there?
That's true.
UFC Fight Pass is starting to have some really big time stuff on it, but for the most part, it was flow.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So if you could have a dream jiu-jitsu matchup, who would it be with? Mine's easy. I got it now. I got it in my head.
my life's easy because I could fight all the people that I want to fight. Like if I want to go fight Q or Samir or like those are like anybody like.
No, but if you could pick somebody, like I want to say like somebody active that you're like, man, I'd love to get that matchup.
You know, what'd be cool is like to fight like an MMA fighter that like, you know, like Conor McGregor.
That would be okay. That's a good one. He's a gorilla now.
Yeah,
he used to be about your size.
Yeah, I fight gorillas.
Yeah,
no problem.
Yeah, for me it'd be Megaton.
It'd be cool to like see like because like learning jiu-jitsu for MMA is different than learning jiu-jitsu for sport jiu-jitsu, right? So like it would just be interesting to see like how he handles certain situations that like I would see a different response from someone who trains jiu-jitsu for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like, it's like it has zero to do with like, oh, I think I could beat Conor McGregor's ass at jiu-jitsu. No, it's just like I wanted, you know, get that like different perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me it would definitely be Megaton.
That'd be cool.
That would be a matchup that I'd like. I don't know how long I'd last, but that honestly, that's like ever since I started jiu-jitsu, that's the matchup I've wanted. So I don't know, maybe someday.
I don't know. I feel like that's what's kind of neat about jiu-jitsu is that like your heroes aren't necessarily like out of reach.
No,
like you could like say Gordon Ryan's your hero. That is like potentially something that you could like make happen. Like not like, I mean, he would never accept a super fight from some random guy, but like because. Why would he? You're not worth anything if you're just some random dude, right? Because he's about making money now. It's his career.
Kelsey just said, "I guess I'm saving up for boobs now."
Can't go.
I'm not saying get boobs. I'm saying you can justify spending the money. You can justify it.
Well, you're not gonna be able to. Better be than being shitted.
Mission accomplished. Yeah.
Better than being shitted.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's funny.
But I mean, like you could, like we can all like. You can go to their gym and like most schools, like regardless of who their like super famous world-class black belt is, has drop-in fees, and you could potentially like take a class where you're fighting, you know, you can have a role with like any of the, like, I mean, you have Josh Cisneros. Like,
I do.
As your coach.
Yeah, and he beats the crap out of me.
I can roll with Josh Cisneros every week.
Yeah, if you chose to, yeah.
Usually he chooses me.
He does.
Like, oh no. I was trying to take a light day.
or when he goes, "Hey, you rolling today?" I'm like, "Yeah."
You know, my stomach has been a little. Start making excuses.
So Q came to our first belt promotion. This is when we had the space with the wall in between.
Yeah.
And he not only like, I mean, guys like that are amaze me. I mean, I looked at them when we were in Nashville, and I'm like, these guys look exhausted. They've been traveling all fucking year, you know. So Q is doing seminars all over the country, and he's doing, you know, all over the world. And then he goes and he does like, you know, classes here, and he'll do like a Worlds camp and a Pans camp and all this stuff. And honestly, like, if I'm like, my business brain goes to work right away. So I'm looking at what he's charging, right? And how many people actually show up. It doesn't pencil out, dude. But he does it consistently, and there's a passion to it. It's got to be passion, because he came to our academy. He was there for our belt promotion. I think he rolled with everybody in the room.
Yeah.
And our belt promotion ended at like, I think our belt promotion ended at like 6. He didn't leave our academy for like 9.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and we sat around, talked jiu-jitsu. We sat around, talked business, and he was just checking out, asking us how we do things. And dude, he's an amazing guy, dude. He's an amazing guy.
Like I said, jiu-jitsu is like a very unique. Well, I wouldn't say it's very unique in that aspect, but like, say like your thing is football. Like you'll never be able to go play football with you know your favorite football athlete.
You're right.
Whoever that is. Right. But we can.
You have a football athlete that you like?
I mean, is that even what you say? Football athlete, football player,
a sports ball athlete. Oh my gosh.
Brett Favre, he can teach me how to do investing.
What? Oh, ouch. Ouch. Yeah. Let's see. Colin Ensing said he'd fight Dylan Dennis.
I mean, he'd get fought.
Yeah, Colin, you'd lose that one, buddy. I love you, but that one's not going to work out in your favor. All right, so what else you got?
All right, so next one is who do you think will eventually beat Gordon Ryan?
He's been beat.
Like, not in his prime though.
Like, he's been beat.
Not in his prime. He's in his prime now, or working up to his prime. According to him, he thinks his prime is.
He's not in his prime yet.
Yeah.
No, he just recently got his man strength. He's what, 25?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think at this point he's 28, but
it's still he just got his man.
Because I think at the beginning of COVID, when we really started like putting all eyes on Gordon, I think that's when he was 25. So
okay.
Now he's 27, 28 now, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are capable. I don't know that enough people are willing to put in the work that he's willing to do. One thing that he's done better than anybody else. Forget about jiu-jitsu, man.
Marketed himself.
No, forget about that. He's put himself in a position where he doesn't have to do seminars or any of that bullshit that everybody has to do to scrounge, get some money so they can train. All he has to do is train now. He's got his instructionals that are fantastic.
And they just continually make money.
They just continually make money.
What do you call that? Passive income?
Passive income, yeah. Yeah. So it's not 100% passive. I mean, it is now. I mean, there was the time and the money it took to put it together to, I seriously doubt he's making every penny of the profit that comes from it. I'm sure BJJ Fanatics makes a cut and whoever,
But he's got sponsorships and every company wants to have him.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
So he's put
what
himself,
bigger name is there in jiu-jitsu right now?
So in order for somebody to match that, they either have to have the skill set that is well beyond his, because he's fought wrestlers. He's wrestled wrestlers and beat them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you'd have to get a guy that's like an amazing wrestler, an amazing jiu-jitsu player, can escape footlocks at will.
Well, I think it would be the perfect storm, because I think so. Like his most recent match with Nicky Rod, right?
That was really good.
He got caught.
But he let the foot break.
Yeah, but the reason I think that like Nicky Rod was able to like accomplish that is that well, I mean, this is like coming right off of ADCC, right, where he beat the shit out of Nicky Rod.
Yeah, he did.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he wasn't taking the match seriously.
Yeah.
I think he probably was looking at it kind of more like, because he stepped up, right? Because God, who he's supposed to fight? It doesn't matter. But anyway, so he stepped up to fill in. So it's like, oh, that's like taking it on short notice. Like, was he prepping to fight Gordon? I mean, those guys are always prepping to fight, the best in the world. That's their life, is fighting the best in the world.
Yeah.
But like,
who else do you want to fight? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I think it was almost a perfect storm of where Gordon Ryan didn't take him serious enough, and then almost lost because
of the price.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, he has been beat. Everybody's beatable. Everybody gets got. It's just a matter of time. But what I love about the sport aspect of jiu-jitsu and even MMA is you could have losses on your record and still be a high ranked, person. I think that's I think that might be the reason why MMA fighters don't make as much as boxers, because in boxing you lose, you're gone.
Yeah.
There is no 28-1. You know what I mean? That is like, moves the needle, whatever. I mean, I'm sure there is, but like, I mean, if you talk about like who's that? Oh gosh, what's his name?
Well, that's why they have all those journeyman fights, right?
Yeah.
They've had their record, give them the experience that they need.
They're great fighters.
Yeah.
And they would, let's just say that if you think a guy is a journeyman, if you call somebody a journeyman, let me just tell you that you couldn't beat his worst sparring partner.
Right.
His worst sparring partner would beat the living shit out of you. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they're great fighters, but they don't move the needle like a Mayweather, like everybody else who's undefeated on the biggest stages. You know what I mean?
50-0, right?
50-0. Yeah. And I'm just, I have a lot of respect for anybody that jumps in the ring, but I think that's the reason why MMA fighters don't make as much.
Yeah.
Because they don't move the needle like boxers do.
Yeah. And there's a lot of organizational things that's going to have to change. Like, I mean, the whole, like, the Reebok thing, that was big, right? When that happened, like, all these athletes that had sponsorships were like, now you can't have those sponsorships, like, or at least you're not allowed to advertise them because you're representing the UFC and the UFC is represented by, or represents Reebok. Yeah. And that, I think that hurt a lot of fighters, man. Oh, it definitely hurt a lot of fighters, man. Yeah. And, and there was even people like Cutmen. Remember they had all their little patches on their vests and stuff? I mean, sure. And now they all have to wear Reebok gear. Mm-hmm. Right. Even your team that comes up with you, they all have to wear the Reebok, fit. I wonder how Monster got in on that. Remember that? Because they had like a Monster little logo on some of the folks there. Well, it's easy. money.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they had to partner with Reebok, I would imagine. I don't know if anybody knows how Monster got in on that. That's a great question.
If anybody knows, I don't care.
Yeah, I care. That's a lot of money, man.
Money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
It's easy money.
Yeah. Who will eventually beat Gordon Ray? He's already been beat. What do you got?
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. I like this one a lot. A rule you would add to the IBJJF rule set. I would say like add, modify, take away, like a change to the rule set for the IBJJF is what I would say.
Okay, so if I would change anything in IBJJF,
reaping in the gi.
Reaping in the gi would be awesome. No, one rule that I would change is if you're going to put a time limit to any match, then you have to police the stalling way more than they're doing now. Anything that resembles a stall should be a penalty. Anything that resembles. You sit in somebody's guard and you lock them down, boom.
Yeah.
And penalties should not start with, penalties should be real penalties, right? It should not start off with like, hey, a warning, and then a warning advantage, right? It should be penalty advantage, penalty 2, penalty DQ. And then they should come on quick because there's too many people sitting there doing nothing because they scored an advantage and now you got to chase those fuckers around.
Yeah.
Right. I'm very sensitive to this one because this happened to me a couple times.
Sure.
Like I go in there, let's fucking play, man. Let's see. I mean, fucking submit me. You know what I mean? Let's do this, you know? But
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the sport jiu-jitsu versus like combat, or not combat, but like
actual jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
The martial art.
Yeah. Cause I mean, in a lot of ways, I kind of like the people who play like, when they changed the 50-50 rule about like when you come up, you get 2 points, they come up, you get 2 points. Like, and there was a lot of strategy that a lot of people didn't realize because there was the advantage the second time, I think is how that worked. So, and then at that point, like, I can't remember exactly how, like Italo was explaining to me like the mindset behind like how it was played by like, you know, professional black belt athletes. And I was like, that blew my mind. Cause for me, like, I'm like you, I'm like, let's try to submit each other. Like, I like submission only rolling. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I dig it. I just, you know, anything. Well, don't get me wrong. I love when somebody wins by playing the rule set. I don't care how you advance, just advance. I think that's really cool. But when you're sitting there and you're physically stalling, you know, and I mean, the referee can only do what's within the rule set himself, right? I mean, him or herself, you know, penalty, and then.
I agree with that to an extent, but I think in a lot of ways it's also like in the eyes of the ref. I think a lot of times that I think in my opinion is misused. Like say like someone like mounts you and you're trying everything you fucking can to get this guy off of you and he's just holding you down.
Yeah.
Right. Which he can, because if you're on the back or in the mount position, you don't have to progress anymore.
I'm okay with that.
Right. Because those are the ultimate positions.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Or I would say that mount's probably penultimate. I would rather be on someone's back 100%.
I would rather be mount. It just looks more dominant.
Oh, it looks more dominant.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I like to drive my groin.
Yep. That's not my belt knot.
But you know what I mean? Like, but like you could be actively trying and then you'll get a stalling penalty because you're not progressing out of your position. Like I've seen that happen before and I'm like, that's fucking bullshit.
Wait, from mount?
Just an example. Like, you know, but where you're like, they're trying. A lot of times you're trying to get out of a position.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy is just, maybe he's just so much better than you. It's like, that's kind of bullshit. It's like the guy's better than you and you're trying to get out, but you just can't. Right?
If I could get mount in 6 seconds and hold it for the rest of the match, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I want people to complain about how boring my match was.
Mm-hmm.
You know
all
what
you
I mean?
did was mount me and hold me there. It's like, well, why didn't you just escape them?
Yeah, it's the ones that's holding down and side control.
Yeah.
I guess that's another dominant position. But the guys that camp out in your guard, you know what I mean? Because they're ahead by an advantage. You know what I mean? That's kind of bullshit.
Or like in close guard or being the guard player.
Yep.
Like either holding the guy down or you like, you know, clamp down on their hips and just put your head down.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah, that's what happens a lot.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I think it has to be, those penalties need to be reserved for true stalling, for someone who is literally just looking to hold out for the time.
Yeah. And I think if you blast double and just run out of room, but you end up in the dominant position, you should get your 2 points.
If you initiated your takedown inside inbounds, you do get the 2 points.
I don't think you do.
You do. The problem is like people play the edge.
Oh, I see.
And then when you're actually really getting into the double leg, you're actually out of bounds, and that's when they just like, nope, sorry.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. If you initiate inbounds like say you pick somebody up and you're driving and their fucking feet are off the ground and you put them down out of bounds, you will get the 2 points.
Gotcha.
Or you're supposed to get the 2 points.
Get 2 points. Right.
If you're Brazilian, you definitely will.
Ouch. There's a little bit of there was a little passion in that one. All right. What else you got?
Okay. Let's see here.
Wait. What? Okay. Never mind. Go ahead.
No, what were you
no. I'm going to say nothing. Go ahead.
Let's see here. Favorite theory, fan theory, conspiracy theory, i.e., birds aren't real. Africa in Toto is about a man trying to cure his. I don't even know what this word's supposed to be. I can't read her handwriting. It looks like lyranthropy.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, put your word in the chat, Kelsey.
Yeah.
But what's your favorite theory, fan theory, conspiracy theory?
Oh, wow. I really love flat earthers.
I do too.
They are my favorite, dude.
And everything that comes with it. Flat earthers, space is fake,
flat
earth, all of that stuff.
Yeah, that flat earth one is pretty amazing. That's probably my favorite one, the flat earth one. Yeah.
It's supposed to be lycanthropy. So like werewolves.
Oh shit. Nah, not really big into that one. I think the but
I think 3 people actually think that's true, but there is a real number of people that think that flat earth is flat.
Yeah. Bigfoot's another one.
Yep.
I enjoy that one.
Election was stolen.
Yeah, the election was stolen. It's a good one. But that happens after every election.
Yeah. A lot of people forget that they were kind of doing the same thing with Hillary.
Oh, the resistance? Yeah. It's so convenient.
But they're fucking still latched on to the Trump thing.
Yeah. The Trump Russia thing?
Hard.
Yeah.
Well, no. I'm talking about the stolen election. Even never mind. We don't need to get into that.
You really want to get into that right now? Oh my God.
Not without someone who wants to argue with me.
Yeah. I honestly don't care who wins because I think they're all the same person.
It's all status quo.
It's all status quo. They all went to the same schools. They all went, they all run in the same circles. And
they're all just trying to make money. They just have different organizations that are giving them money.
That's it. Hey, good on them, man. You know what I mean? It's like a mobster. You know what I mean? It's who they are. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
This next one's a good one. This fan theory one was cute, but I think this one's a really good one.
All right.
Gym red flag.
Gym red flags. Okay. Well, where do I start?
Not letting your athletes train at other schools, for open mat and stuff.
Oh, you're talking about academy red flags. Mm-hmm. Okay. I thought you meant gyms, water gallon jug guy.
Oh, the guy, the athlete red flags?
Yeah. The over the ear headphone, tank top, weight belt, and shorty shorts guy.
Well, let's ask Kelsey. Kelsey, what did you mean? I read that gym red flags is red flags from academies. If you're a prospective student.
Well, if it's academies, I have a couple of different perspectives when it comes to not allowing your students to train in other academies. When we were brought up in a more new school type of environment where Paul never told us not to cross train.
Mm-hmm.
So when hey Micah, it says hey
guys,
Micah.
I'm Micah.
Hey, hi Micah.
She said she meant academy, but pop off on gyms like Yos.
Okay, so let's start with academies. So this is a really good subject because I have a couple different perspectives, and not different perspective. I have my own perspective. I allow my students. They're freaking paying customers.
They're adults.
They are my boss.
Yeah.
My students are my boss.
I think that's what a lot of gym owners forget.
Yeah. So let's not call it gym. Let's call it gym and academy because I get screwed up. Okay. So my students are my boss. They dictate the direction of our academy. Okay. They decide how we're going to move forward. They decide what we're going to do, what color the walls are going to be, what color this, everything, right? They decide. Why? Because if I color the walls pink and then I lose 30 people, okay, I screwed up.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a stupid conversation.
I mean, honestly, it depends on your goal.
Right.
Is your goal to become, not wealthy, but a successful gym owner,
correct,
meaning you have a lot of students, or is your goal to make the best jiu-jitsu practitioner student ever?
Agreed.
Right.
But I guess what I'm saying is if I had if I had like very plush type of an academy, and then I moved into this little 1,000-square-foot place.
Shack.
Yeah. It's just a shack, and it's just like the bathrooms were dirty.
No
and
air
all that
conditioning.
Stuff. Yeah, that's a business decision that I made that would affect my students who would leave, and then I know I screwed up. Right. Yeah. That's a very extreme example. But as far as like cross training at other academies, I have students that are like I would call like the competitors, right? The ones that actually travel and compete and do all that stuff. I want what's best for them. Mm-hmm. I want what's best for them, period. Okay. So if training at our academy is what's best for them, awesome. Mm-hmm. If cross training because they're going to different academies like on the weekend, awesome. If lifting weights is what they want to do, cool. But I think I have a good enough relationship with my athletes, with my competitive athletes, that we have those conversations openly.
Yeah.
Right. I don't have to look at a picture and go, "Hey, Judas," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just not the way it is.
In my eyes, it's a practical one. I think that it's all like I think the benefits far outweigh the imaginary like downsides of like letting like we're just gonna say it, letting your students.
That is just sorry, that's a stupid word.
It's stupid. Yeah, it's very stupid. Yeah. But I mean, like, you get used to your training partners. Like, you get used to their styles, and they get used to shutting down your techniques, right? And then it's really easy to fall into that stagnation. Right?
Yeah, but what does that do? What does that do for your style and game and all that when you're predictable? It forces you to change.
Sure.
Right? If you're a one-trick pony and you go to 6 different schools, you're going to execute that trick at all 6.
Well, I mean, if you'd let me finish my fucking point.
Sorry, I got monster in me, dude. You got to cut me off. Go ahead.
No, so I was just going to say, like, I think, like, yeah, that is a good point. Like, it kind of forces you to evolve when people start learning your game. But like, you sometimes, like, say, like, you're like the top echelon of like the students at your school, right? Like, and then you learn everyone's game in your school, and you're ahead of their learning curve. Mm-hmm. And at that point, you're always going to be winning. Mm-hmm. And at that point, you're kind of slowing your own progression. Versus like if you go to another school and like you don't know their game, and then they're able to shut you down, you're like, oh, no one in my school's ever like addressed my spider guard this way or whatever. Yeah. Just like the different exposure, different styles, and different intensities. Mm-hmm. It's like some schools are really intense, like with the way that they train, especially like at open mats, because you can go to open mat and it's just like everyone's just like, oh, we're just almost like aggressive flow rolling, and then you go to some schools and they're trying to take your head off. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Well, that's any school that I visit.
Right. Well, as a black belt, everyone wants to. They're like, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it works.
Sometimes it works. But I mean, I think it's important to be exposed to all that stuff, especially if you're going to be a competitor. Like, because it's really hard for a lot of people who like only have trained at their home gym, and then they go to a tournament for the first time, or maybe second or third time or whatever, and they're just blindsided by like the intensity. Yeah. We've talked about this before, right? Yeah. But when you go to another school as a visitor, I think in general, most people want to take it to you. Yeah. They want to represent their own school. Yeah. And that's why tournaments are like, people are trying to represent their coach and represent their school. Right. And that's why they give it their all. And they also, there's that, it seems like there's more stakes like at a tournament.
Of course. Yeah.
Right. So but you kind of, I think when you go to another school and you get that high intensity, I think it really shows you where you are better than like, and maybe at your own school, like everyone just kind of like starts to get like, you're so comfortable with your partners that like it is more playing than it is.
Like you and I, we usually start off the round like talking shit, but like come minute 3, like we're actually rolling.
Yeah, when your nose is bleeding and I'm concussed. Oh wait, no, it's usually the other way around.
Yeah, you're the only one that's doing the concussing. Anyway,
you're the concussee.
I am the concussee. Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of things that go into that, man. Like, I honestly would not train somewhere where I wasn't allowed to go cross train, even if I didn't cross train, which I probably wouldn't have time to. You know what I mean? Like
there's just something about that mentality, that insecurity as an owner or a coach, like saying like, because really what it comes down to is like, what are you afraid of? That they're going to find something that they can't get at your school? Yeah. Well, then why aren't you providing that?
Right. Yeah. There's that. But originally what it was before the YouTube
secret jiu-jitsu,
it was literally secrets. Like if you were training with a guy named like a guy like Hickson Gracie, right? And then there was some, at that time, there were purple belts in Brazil coming over, and their belts were magically turning black. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were opening a school, and a guy like Hickson doesn't want you going to that guy's school and showing off the stuff that you're learning from him. Like, so I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Fuck that, dude. I would be so angry.
Yeah.
But in this era, this modern era where there's so many tournaments, so you can go and watch people compete. You can go and watch their game. Like, you could literally sit there and videotape your next opponent.
And the smartest athletes are doing that.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
studying what people are doing.
So to say that you can't go train somewhere else because somebody might learn things that you're teaching your students, that's so far-fetched now.
Yeah, nobody lives in a bubble anymore.
No, it's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's another reason for it. But, like, here's the thing, man. Like, if I have a student leave my academy and they continue training, I did my job.
Mm-hmm.
If they quit training, I failed them.
Yeah. Somehow
I failed them, right? If they quit jiu-jitsu forever, I did something that they didn't like, and hey, my bad. But sometimes, like, Matt Mamelin told me this once. I was a white belt. We're in Vegas.
Does he have it on a spreadsheet?
He probably does. He probably knows the date. But Matt Mamelin told me once, it's like, people don't leave because they hate their academy. They leave because their needs change.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're in an academy like Paul, let's say Paul's 10 years ago, right? Holy crap, dude. Like, I would leave to find a kinder, gentler academy if I was that kind of person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was like, jump on the mat and good luck, because everybody's trying to kill you.
Yep.
Because everybody was in that mode. That was that time in that academy. Now, fast forward maybe 2 years, 3 years after that, Paul's like, okay, well, let's back off on the warm-ups, right? I don't need people throwing up during warm-ups. Let's back off on, making everybody compete. We're not going to do that. And, his business grew, right? Because of it, because more people were like, okay, this is okay. Where before
it's more consumable. Yeah.
Yeah. People would leave and never come back.
Right.
And after day one. So it was very, very different in that academy. But yeah, I could shit on the big box, gyms. Like, I could shit on them all day, man.
Name one.
Okay, so I actually like.
Just kidding. I thought you were going to be like, I'm not going to do that.
I actually like EOS. I do like EOS.
Mm-hmm.
They try to cater to a lot of things, too many different things at the same time. Like, they're trying to cater to, the Lululemon, ponytail, get on the treadmill and look cute.
Hip thrusters, don't forget.
Yeah, they're trying to cater to, the beast mode, CrossFit chick that likes to, lift heavy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're trying to cater to the guy like me who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. So they have like monkey bars and stuff to climb on. You know what I mean? I think they're trying to do too many
this
things.
Looks fun.
Yeah. And then I think they have like a movie theater in there. Have you seen that?
Yeah, where you can get on the bikes or whatever, and the ellipticals, and there's like movies going. Yeah.
No, sir. There is an actual movie theater.
Yeah, I know.
With a big screen.
Yeah, but there's like treadmills and ellipticals and stuff in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like dark.
I think that's genius.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Right. But I go in there and I'm just like walking because I'm there to watch a movie. You know what I mean?
I mean, we're like, I think at one point in time, people could like got away with like, oh, I'm just going to have a podcast in or listen to music.
Yep.
I think society as a whole has become way more visual with everyone being on like social media. So I think like it's what people want.
Sorry, someone commented, "Shut up, spreadsheets are awesome." Yeah.
I like spreadsheets. I think they're really powerful. But Matt is
he's next level.
A spreadsheet nerd.
Yeah, he's next level. But anyway, but yeah, I
they all fill their niche.
But I personally just hate going and lifting weights.
Yeah.
I hate going to a big box gym and lifting weights.
I love it. If I had more time.
I think you just like shitting on people is what it is. I think, yeah.
And with everyone, like see people like filming themselves do stupid shit.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
No one's impressed. Sierra.
I'm impressed. Shut up.
She's beating the shit out of that medicine ball.
She is. It's funny. Like I watch people go in there and they have like their gloves on and they're beating the shit out of that
punching bag
or whatever. I'm like, I mean, I guess this is a place to do that. I mean, they have one, right? But again, they're trying to cater to too many things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I liked. Do you remember when the LA Fitness was like, I think it's like Guadalupe and Price. It was like the worst LA Fitness on the planet.
You mean Law Fitness?
Law Fitness, yeah. It's like a hospital now, or some kind of clinic
really?
now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a clinic or something. But that place had like a leaky roof.
Yeah.
Half the shit didn't work.
Hey, those dungeon gyms, that's where people go to get real
I loved
shredded.
it. I loved it because no one ever went there because it was a dump. You know what I mean? Like
that's why I can't do EOS. Every time I go there, and it doesn't matter what time, you can go at 5 in the morning, 11 at night. You're fucking waiting. You might take a number for the rack. Like,
yeah, but what are they charging? Like $20 a month or something like that?
I think that's part of the problem. Like if you only go to one, it's like $10 a month. Like if you pick your gym, like say like I want the one that's right across the street from Paul's. Like you paid $10 a month or whatever it is. Yeah. And then then there's like another like $24 a month, and you can go to like there's like select locations you can go to, and then there's like $50 a month or whatever it is. I can't remember, but like, and then you can go to every single one of them.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there's like tiers.
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever. It's just super, super busy. I mean, and they got good facilities. I'm not going to lie.
No, it's nice. Yeah.
It's great.
I used to go there to use their sauna, but now I have one, so I really don't need to go.
And now you don't use it?
I use it. I use my sauna. Hell yeah, I do. All right. What Gym Red Flags? We went through that one. What else?
Okay. A book you would recommend to everybody.
Oh, I would recommend Richard Bressler with Scott Burr, Worth Defending. I've read it twice. Awesome book, man.
I'm actually writing a book.
What? Oh yeah? What are you writing? You fucking asshole.
I don't know. There's
how to lose friends and alienate everyone.
Oh, that would just be a short YouTube video. How to alienate your friends. I don't know. There's like, have you ever read The Alchemist? No. I can't remember the author's name. Something Paulo. He's a Brazilian guy or Portuguese guy. But it's one of those, like, it's a short book. It's an easy read. Okay. And it's just kind of like this kid who kind of like goes on his own like semi-hero's journey trying to figure out his life. And it's one of those like kind of like really easy consumable like little like stories that kind of like relates to everybody in a little bit. And I've read it a handful of times in different like times in my life, and you just kind of like, it's one of those books that like every time you read it, you get something different out of it.
Nugget out of it. Yeah.
So it's like one of those, I like to tell people to read that book because it's just easy. Like versus like, I think a lot of like self-help books, like stuff like, I don't know if you qualify that as self-help.
Nah, not really. I mean, like there's parts in it.
Like nonfiction stuff a lot of times can come off dry unless you're like super into whatever that author is writing about. Yeah. But that's why I like a lot of fiction stuff. There's a lot of times it's not necessarily about the whole story. It's kind of more about like, you know, what you can get out of the story. Yeah.
I'm reading, right now I'm reading Musashi.
Okay.
Which I'll probably be reading the rest of my life because it's like 2,000 pages or something fucking crazy. But I just like he was a real guy, and they are, you know, I'm sure some of it's fiction, you know, but it's an interesting read, and it's, you know, it's not quick by any means, but it's a good one.
It's not an easy light read, is it?
But I do read I do read a lot of nonfiction. You know,
you like nonfiction.
I do. Yeah. I like to hear a good story, man. If somebody like I love the story where the person is like successful, loses everything, becomes even more successful. You know, that's really the type of shit I love. It's inspiring.
All right, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Favorite random fact, i.e., humans can't actually feel wetness. And then wombats poop in squares. No, they don't. They poop in cubes. Where poop a square? That's
how high was she when she wrote these? My gosh.
Yes.
Favorite random fact. Oh gosh.
My favorite one is that octopi punch fishes.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they punch fishes. You can pull up videos. They like whack.
Wait, is it like the fish pissed them off, or are they hunting them?
Yeah. Well, I think they hunt fish. I don't think fish usually hunt. Well, I guess a shark could hunt.
No, I'm saying octopi hunting a fish. Is that how they stun them or something?
I think they're just mad at them because they're fucking assholes. Have you ever looked at a fish? Look at a stupid fish.
I don't know that I've ever looked at a fish that way, but yeah.
All right, I'll send you a video.
Oh, gosh. Favorite random fact. I'm going to have to think about that one. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Owls are smarter than you?
No, owls are not smarter than me. Owls are lucky I'm not armed all the time because...
What did Kelsey say?
Just out of spite.
Yeah. See?
Yeah. Okay. Amy says they punch fish out of spite.
Yeah. That's a good random fact.
That's a great random fact. That's got to be my favorite. I never knew that.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Moving on. Tips for new white belts or advice you wish you had gotten.
Oh, wow.
shut the fuck up and listen.
Yeah, that's that one's
obvious.
That one's obvious. Honestly, like, oh gosh, I don't know about advice I wish I'd gotten. I will tell you advice that I got that really helped me. Run for your life and learn some shit along the way. Mm-hmm. That's really like, that's good and that's bad. Like, I think white belts need to ask why more.
Sure.
And I think that was like frowned upon when we started. Like, you don't ask why. You just kind of do what you.
A good coach is.
I hear you, but we may not. We may explain the why in maybe in such a general way that people are like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think if white belts start asking the whys a little bit more, like why palm up versus palm down.
Sure.
Why foot, why are we curling our toe this way instead of hooking the other side of the leg? Those types of things, I think they'll go a lot farther, a lot faster. And I think one piece of advice that I will give white belts, and this is 100% fucking proven. If you take notes, you will get better faster.
Yeah.
If you take notes, you will get better faster.
Be a jiu-jitsu nerd if you want to be good at jiu-jitsu. Yeah, for sure.
And that is proven. That is 100% proven. I don't care what anybody says about, whatever. I learned.
And you will get made fun of, but just be like, whatever.
No, don't apologize. Don't apologize for wanting to get good. By the way, it's not cheap. You might as well get 100% out of it.
Sure.
Jiu-jitsu ain't cheap, man. I mean,
in this day and age too, like I've seen people do this, which I think it's a good idea. Film class.
Yes. Yeah. Take video.
Obviously, like ask, like make sure it's cool with your coach.
I always ask. Yeah.
But if you're it's real easy. Sometimes it's a little harder to like write an explanation of a technique. It's so much easier just to like watch it, because it's just definitely like when you're doing something physical, it's a lot easier to see than it is to have someone explain. Like we've tried when we try to explain stuff here.
Yeah.
Like how many people like understood what we were talking about versus just if we showed them a video.
Yeah. And well, even when I watch video, when I'm studying technique, I'm taking pages and pages and pages of notes. I take a ton of notes, man.
Well, I mean, how many times you have to watch a technique? Sometimes you're like, I literally will break it down. All right, so what's his right arm doing for this whole sequence? Okay, now what's his left arm doing for this whole sequence?
Yep.
Now what's his hips doing?
Yep.
Now
what's the head doing?
Now what's his left leg? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You kind of have, because you can't watch all of it at once.
No.
Right. And and if you try to watch all of it once, you're missing something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. So taking notes. Yeah, that's.
For me, it's like quit trying to win. Like especially in class.
Yeah.
Right. Like Donaher talks about that. Like training is for getting better, not for winning. Right.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't like. Yes, it's fun to submit your friends for sure.
Oh, it's awesome.
Right. But like, if you have like
try submitting your wife. That is fantastic, dude. That's a lot of fun. Yet we're gonna have a surprise wedding for you guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought someone else was already doing.
No, we're working on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the works.
But no, it's too easy to make this like a series of different fights that you're trying to win. Like when it comes to like live rolling, it's like just work. Like especially like when you're new and you're first learning things and you learn side control escape. Ask your partner, hey, can I just be on bottom side control?
Yeah.
And then let's go 100%. And I just am trying to escape. Like doing situational stuff. Like I know it's not fun. Situational sucks.
Yeah.
But what better way to practice a given technique?
Dude, we used to do a lot of situationals at Nalas for tournament preps. And now, like when somebody has my back, I am completely relaxed. There was no panic. Yeah. I mean, do I get caught sometimes? Yeah. But whenever I when I have 2-on-1, on the wrist, and I'm, I feel 100% confident that I'm going to get out of it.
Yeah.
No matter how hard they squeeze, I'm good.
Yeah.
And that I can't say that for everybody, because I mean, it hurts.
Yeah. Oh, it's uncomfortable. It's like I said, we were talking about earlier about like the fight or flight, like especially if you're not used to it.
Yeah.
Being in uncomfortable situations, a lot of people freak out.
Yeah.
And spaz out. And it's like the more you're in those bad situations, the less you're going to spaz and make a mistake and get submitted, like in a tournament or at a bar. Maybe someone like comes up behind you and they like wrap up your neck.
Amy says I'm in trouble for that comment. Don't fall asleep. You just literally threatened me online, lady.
I don't.
Not cool.
Purple belt. All right. Let's move on. Least favorite submission.
Least favorite submission? Wrist lock. That's my least favorite.
Oh, come on. That's so low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, wrist lock is my least favorite. Oh.
Ezekiel.
Really?
I hate doing them, and I hate having them done to me.
Yeah, they hurt my hands.
Yeah. They really do hurt my wrist. Like, when I do it, I'm like, my wrist is going to break.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I've never, like, enjoyed doing them. I like the nogi Ezekiel better, where you just kind of, like, wrap up your wrist, and you kind of, like, it's more of a punch in the throat that you're just kind of supporting with your other hand.
Yeah.
But, like, the gi version where you're grabbing that, it always just torques my wrist weird.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I like a good gi choke. I like a good gi choke with my legs wrapped over, my leg going over the shoulder and really extending.
Mm-hmm.
And then it sounds like leather, like leather pulling. And then you can hear him go, oh, that's my favorite choke.
Yes.
That is absolutely my favorite.
It's not the question. Least favorite.
But we got to go back and forth because it's got to be two sides to that coin, right?
Well, chokes are always the best because there's nobody who can just be like, I'm too flexible to be choked.
Right.
Luis Varela Jr.
He and I rolled. She said, Amy says that was rude. He rolled with me the other day, and he was so sweet because he went like super easy. And I'm like, and
took it easy on your old ass.
Yeah, he took it really easy on me, and I'm like,
one of our newest brown belts.
Yeah, yes, congratulations, Luis. I love you, buddy. He and I were rolling. We kind of have fun with it,
mm-hmm.
But then like if I turn it on, he'll turn it on too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So, but it was more of a flow kind of thing. It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, good choke. My good Kanto choke is my favorite.
Nice.
One of my favorites. It's so much my favorite and so like high percentage for me that like I almost feel like it's cheap. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna get into side control. I'm gonna throw my leg over your head and I'm gonna submit you.
Yeah. The worst choke I ever got. The like the strongest like oh my gosh this is really bad was Gerson. Mm-hmm. Gerson choked me from. He had my back, but he used my lapel to do it. Yeah. So he just wrapped my lapel around and basically bow and arrowed with my lapel.
Yeah.
That one hurt a lot because my whole body's like getting torqued. That one hurt a lot.
First time I was baseball bat choke, like no-gi baseball bat choke.
That one hurts.
That one hurt like
that one hurts. Yeah. All right. What else you got?
All right. Next one. Favorite competition memory.
That one's easy. You go first. That one's easy.
Favorite competition memory. The first time I took gold, I think at white belt was like really fucking cool because it was like, you know, when you start maxing out your belt, you got your 4 stripes, you're like getting ready for blue belt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just and that at the time I was adult, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to, was it 4 or 5 matches or something? It was one of the in-state tournaments. But it was just like I ran through, submitted everybody.
Nice.
My ex was in the crowd. Not lying. Made it. It was just like the perfect storm to make this fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like it's fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
Like to like get that first gold medal because that's ultimately what like if you're training to do competition, you want that gold, right? We always talk about like, oh, you made it on the podium or whatever. It's like. Yeah, that's a small consolation, I guess. But or you get out in the first round, your guy won the gold.
I don't want to hear that shit.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You want the gold.
Yeah.
And so like the first time, it's just like that's like yep, I got it done.
Yeah, that's cool. So I dragged Amy into jiu-jitsu, kicking and screaming, almost 9 years ago, and and she supported me a lot, like during all the company. You know that you've been there since the beginning. So, I mean, she was always like, in the crowd, after party, all that stuff. She was always with me.
God, we used to after party hard.
Yes, that was pretty awesome. I'm so sad that's gone away, but yeah.
Everyone's soft.
Yeah. But my favorite memory is when she and I got ready for Master Worlds together 2 years ago. And we trained together, we lifted together. We were on the same diet. We were the same diet coach. We literally put everything into it, and I think she got third.
Yeah.
That year. Yeah, I didn't podium. I haven't podiumed at Master Worlds at Black Belt yet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she got third, and that's probably my favorite memory.
Yeah.
Of all of them. Yeah, and I've won a lot of matches, but that's my favorite.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
because you guys got to do it together.
Yeah.
Fuck this card. all it says is baseball.
Baseball?
You could name 3 pitchers. You can go fuck yourself.
Oh my gosh. Listen, You know what's funny, man? Like, I remember when I was in the military, everybody like identified themselves by, where they were from, right? Like, I'm from Texas.
Who's your team?
Who's your team? And I couldn't give a shit, dude. I don't care. I don't care about sports. I really don't.
Yeah.
Amy and I have, we had ASU football tickets. And we didn't see a single game this year, and I really don't give a shit.
Nice.
Yeah, I really don't give a shit.
That's money you'll never see either.
I know. It's just like,
just like the football games.
Just like the football game. But yeah, I don't care about sports, man. I'm not impressed. I shouldn't say that. I am impressed. Those are some of the best athletes on the planet. I think they're amazing athletes.
Oh yeah.
It's just not my thing to follow an athlete like that. You know what I mean? Like,
I just don't care.
Jiu-jitsu has changed my perspective on athletics so much. I mean, you get to be your own athlete as long as you want to.
There's no reason you can't.
Right.
You don't have to be like that fat lazy piece of shit just drinking beer and watching people and armchair quarterbacking and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and one of the things that I really key on when people talk about their team is like, oh, we this and we that. Don't you know?
What did you do?
Yeah. Don't you know that those people don't give a shit about you?
Yeah.
They don't care about you. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna get on a soapbox.
Yep,
Kelsey, you ruined this one for me.
Yep. Kidding. This is a good one. This is another one that kind of like circles back a little bit to what we already kind of discussed as far as like IBJJF rules. So the basically just says dumbest IBJJF rule or the rule you would get rid of. Like I kind of like hinted at it and joked at it with the reaping and the gi.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, reaping is not as dangerous as we've been like led to believe.
Yeah.
Like, if you're getting heel hooked, yeah, I mean, because you can't escape the same way you can in no-gi, but the reap itself is not dangerous.
No, it's not.
Because you just turn your hip.
Yep.
And you're safe.
I think the reaping rule is similar to the 12 to 6 elbow in the UFC.
Yep,
I think 100%. It's just something that you had to throw in there to be like, okay, let's.
I mean, I'm perfectly happy with saying like purple belt or blue belt and above, or even brown belt and above, but like it, especially now with how popular no-gi jiu-jitsu is, like it's such a it's basically like all of no-gi jiu-jitsu is reaping.
Yeah.
Right. And to take it out of like gi jiu-jitsu, it's almost like you're making it into two sports.
Yeah. I think that Eddie Bravo hit the nail on the head when he said that 90% of his injuries are wrestling related.
Mm-hmm.
And he teaches knee bars, heel hooks, toe holds to white belts. I mean, day one, you're learning all that stuff.
You need to be taught when to respect a position, when you need to tap.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then when you're the person who's using a technique, you need to know like the limitations of like what you're going to be doing to somebody.
Yeah.
Like knee barring somebody, you're not going to try to like drive your hip in real quick and jerky and like blast someone's knee in half.
Right.
Like,
well, it happened to Liz, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, the e-brake, her own teammate.
Yeah.
So I mean, it can happen, man. It can happen, but I think that comes with inexperience, man. Yeah. It really does.
And ego, right? You got to get rid of the ego. That's why I'm not super against like having it limited to a certain belt range, but like, especially at brown and black, I think at that point, like very few things should be off limits.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
You're not allowed to pick someone up and spike them on their head. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that I agree with. Honestly, I don't necessarily like the no slamming rule.
I like the no slam. I don't like the no slamming rule, provided that they have a facility for it.
Correct.
On a mat, on a gym floor, like in a basketball court field or a basketball court with like like a regular like the Tommy mat on top of it, you're gonna fucking hurt somebody.
Yes, agreed. However, you should understand that if you have your legs wrapped around somebody's waist and they stand up, you should unlock your fucking legs and get your feet on the floor.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And if you have somebody in a triangle and they're strong enough, or you don't understand the position enough to pull the crown of the head so that their chin is in their chest and it's harder to pick you up.
Yeah.
You probably shouldn't be triangling people.
That's fair. I mean, I like that it's allowed at Fight to Win, and they have the mat for it.
Yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
But I am disagreeing with you.
Yeah. No, I just like in some instances like the safety of the athlete, like a slam done correctly is supposed to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Like injure them.
I think if I were to change that rule, I would say that as long as their head is not above yours, you should be able to slam them.
Okay.
If you're in my guard and I pick you up,
you all the way up,
and I pick you up and I'm just going boom, boom, like maybe your waist height, 100%.
Yeah, maybe
100%.
Yeah, maybe they should like at least like have a gray area.
Yeah, because that's more realistic. Like again, getting away from the martial art, going to the sport, that's the biggest indicator. Yeah, that's just my opinion.
Okay. Well, that's that.
So don't slam anybody in my academy, though. No slamming.
No, he said it's cool.
No, it's not.
They need to know.
No,
they need to know how to handle the situation.
I'm just saying, I'm playing within the rules.
Best superpower.
Oh, breathing underwater. Yeah, breathing underwater, 100%. Yep, that is the best superpower. Better than flying. Better. Here's why. You and I are. You're following me in your car, right? I'm in my Jeep, right? I drive my Jeep off of frickin' bridge into the water. Holy shit, Alex is dead, right? They don't find the body. I'm going to come to your house in the middle of the night and scare the living shit out of you while you're sleeping. That's what I'm doing with that super. I'm not going to do anything good with it. It's just going to be all nefarious.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely on board with flying being number one. There's lots of close seconds, but like number one is definitely flying.
Nah,
like super fast flying too. Like not just like, oh, I could fly. You have to be able to fly like fast as the Flash runs.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Or no. Best superpower is being a billionaire.
That's not a superpower.
Yeah, tell that to Batman.
Batman doesn't have superpowers.
Yes,
he just has more money than everybody else, so he buys all
pretty
kinds of cool
fucking awesome
shit.
Superpower.
That is a cool superpower. All right. That is.
I mean, he can.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, he can throw down with Superman because he's got that.
But you said okay. So you said flying would be yours. What would you do with it?
You could just go everywhere. Like I said, you have to be able to do it fast, like Superman flying. So like, say I want to go to Chicago tonight.
I get it. Yeah. But like, okay, if I see you take off one day, oh shit, Tojo can fly. So the next time, my fucking hat flies off my head, fucking Tojo. Me showing up in the middle of the night to scare the shit out of you while you're sleeping because you think I'm dead? Come on now.
Well, I'm going to pick you up, fly you into the sky, and drop you.
Hopefully into a body of water.
I hope you can breathe under there.
I hope that impact didn't break you in half. Oh, my gosh.
All right, so last one. Oh, we kind of already answered this. Favorite submission. So
yeah,
mine's a Kanto choke. Like I said, like it's just
yeah, man.
I love having like holding someone side control, cooking them,
and
then throwing that leg over and submitting them.
I like that a lot. Yeah. So one thing that I want to cover, man, is what I'm not a believer in New Year's resolutions. I think that some of my best ideas or plans or goals have come to me like mid-April, on a hike. You know what I mean? Like just
why wait for January 1st?
Yeah, me and my brain. Set a goal. Yeah, set a goal. Yeah. And what I like to tell people is like there's 12 months in a year, there's 7 days in a week, there's 30 to 31 days in a month. It doesn't matter when you start. You know what I mean? Like when I would do my day planner for work for my day job, I would wait till Wednesday.
Yeah.
I would go Wednesday to Tuesday because Wednesday is like the weekest taking shape. You know what I mean? And okay.
Monday and Tuesday, you're basically just shitting on the job.
Yeah, you really are. Yeah. And like, and I would kind of plan out like people that plan on Sunday, man, unless you got a crystal ball and what's waiting for you on Monday morning, good on you. But most of the time you don't.
Right.
And your best laid plans go to hell because of it. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what are you doing like to get ready for next year? What is your training schedule going to look like? What tournaments are you focusing on? What all that stuff?
I definitely want to do a lot more out of state stuff next year. I want to do a lot of the opens, but my first primary goal is January, February hunting right now.
Okay. What's going on then?
So I can't hunt javelina and deer till January 1st.
Okay.
So January 1st going out. I know you and I have plans on the 1st.
Yep.
So in the evening. So I'm gonna go kill javelina in the morning.
I love it
with my bow. And then focused on deer. And then that's basically only the month of January. And then in February I have a javelina ham hunt, which is handgun archery muzzleloader.
Yeah, that's
what ham stands for. In Unit 37A, and I'm really excited about that.
Where's that?
Just south of Phoenix.
Okay.
Kind of on. So there's.
So the warmer side, warm hunt. It's gonna be a warmer kind of.
Yeah. I mean, it's in February.
Yeah.
So yes and no.
February can still get pretty warm.
Can. Yeah. It's Arizona. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that'll be fun. And then after that, I'll start switching gears back to jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And obviously, I'll be training that whole time, but
yeah,
most of my free time's in the weekend.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, my I've got some goals for the academy. I definitely want to get I want to hit that 450 mark for student count. That's really a goal that I've set, and I think it's achievable. I think we can do it. I'd like to.
Just got to get rid of the worst coach.
Yeah, I got to get rid of me, man. I got to find somebody to replace me. I actually replaced myself in the morning class, and that was tough for me. That was really hard.
You have D teaching?
Yeah, right? D is an amazing coach, and he's everything that you want, man. He's super technical. He's charismatic. He's a good communicator. People like him, and hey, man, awesome.
And he'll talk shit.
Huh?
And he will talk.
He will talk a little shit. That's awesome. Yeah, but I think that that was a big step for me because that morning class was my baby. Like and I told D that like I wouldn't just hand my baby off to just anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm excited about that. Yeah, and I'm filling in for Josh while he's on vacation.
Yeah,
and he's got some big things coming up. I think he's got an Australia trip coming up, so I'll be teaching the evening classes a little bit more. But I think my big if I could do one thing next year that's going to really change my relationship, not my relationship, but really change my business and change my really put me in a position to win. It's going to be my relationship with my coaches. We're going to do coaches forums once a month. Not just like what the curriculum is. We're going to exchange ideas on how to teach it. Okay. Right. So we're all on the same page there.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for where that's going to go, man. I really think we have an amazing group of I know that's an easy thing to say, but dude, I feel it. Like I feel it. That room is just like the energy that we have in that room is just awesome. So I'm excited. I'm excited
big
for that.
To come.
Yeah. So big things to come. And let's see. I got D is great. Won't hesitate to kick your butt either. That's coming from my wife. So my wife is glad that I got fired from that position. Thanks.
Thanks, Kelsey, for making topics.
Yes, Kelsey, that was awesome. Thank you so much. We talked about this, a few days ago. And what do you guys want to talk about? I don't know. We'll just talk some shit, I guess. But yeah, these topics helped a lot. What else? Personally, Master Worlds. That's really it. That's my whole focus.
I'm excited to watch Amy.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
I think she made a tactical error. We've talked about this many times. We like to bring this back up, Amy.
Yeah. Is that tactical? Is there another word that you can use for the error that she made?
I don't know. Are you trying to go me into saying something?
I'm just trying to deflect all of the comments that I've made about my wife, and I want to put them on you, so you get in trouble for a minute.
Oh, she should have taken gold.
Yeah, she should have.
She just made an error.
Yeah,
it could have been hers. It was in reach. She was definitely. Let's just say, I'll put it this way: she was good enough to take gold.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, that's a great way to put it, man. And unfortunately, it's like, well, I don't want to say unfortunately, like that's a great lesson learned, man.
Yeah,
that's a great lesson learned because I've gone into tournaments where I'm like so tactically ready. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I am on, and then my opponent does one thing and it throws all of my tactics out, and now I had no plan B.
Yeah.
Right. So that was a great lesson for me. Like, hey, just be ready, man. Just be ready. Be fluid and
just have a plan, but be able to go with the flow.
Just kick their ass.
Roll with the punches, yeah.
Just kick their ass.
Just submit them. It's easy.
Yeah. Anyway, man.
Good stuff.
Yeah, this was good, man. I was very nervous about doing this.
That's why he did no research on how.
No, of course not. Of course not. We figured it out. Look, we're on live now. But there's actually I actually have a way to do this where we can use the multiple cameras, but I think this is fine.
Yeah, you probably should have looked into how to do it.
Nah, I'm not going to do it. All right, Steven, this is why I need you, buddy. Hey, man, thanks for doing this, brother.
Of course.
All right, man.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. I don't know how to stop it. You have to stop it on the thing. You're like, oh, shit. Now we get to see what happens at the end of a podcast. Don't look at me.